Hello everyone, this is Kangar and I am going to show you Spellsiphon today. Spellsiphon is a fantastic brand new mod combining magic and bow action and soon even melee. So let's start. This is your normal setup with a little bit of mods. You have flames, you have sparks, you want to change them. You need to pause the game, you need to go to the magic menu and select your mods. Now I know there are mods like Mage VR, I've already told you about these, that are great for spell selection as well, also during the game with glyph drawing and gesture based magic, but something is still different, and that is you select a new spell by just selecting the spell. Now something that is absolutely new with Spellsiphon is this. This is bind. It's one of the three specific things that you can do. It's a power. It's a shout that you get if you read a book. The book is in your inventory when you open the mod, when you first start the mod. So you get bind, you use it, and you cast it. Then you get new spells. The one spell is draw, looks like this, and the other spell is ward, looks like this. So what you can do now is you draw your spells out of the environment. You suck them out of what you have around you, and that is a very immersive way to select new spells, in my opinion. There are three different spells that you can draw. The one is world, and you just draw out of the world wherever, and you get a fireball. So this fireball is also a little bit more like action-y. It has an explosion effect, and it gives this great fire effect around the person that you hit or the enemy. And the other thing that you can do is death, which you suck out of any corpse that's around you. In this case, this means anything that has been living and is now dead. So anything that essentially had a health bar and now does not have it anymore. So and then you get a chill effect here, which is frost. And you cast this, and has this really cool effect as well. And again, really nice effect around that person. And the last thing that you have, I'm sorry Rayloff, I always have to hit you. So I have to wait now until the effect is gone, because that's something I want to show you later. So, and the last thing that you can do is life, which is essentially you draw the life spell out of any living thing, including like draugrs, and also including dwarven machines and so on. Anything that has a health bar. So you do this. I was too slow. It needs to cast for 1 second, I believe, on the enemy. I just tried to not anger him, that's the problem. So let's... What are you doing? Yes, oh no. So this is life. It's essentially life is just a shock spell. So now I'm just going to show you ward right in addition, which is this. So this ward blocks even melee, and it's what? Hit me? No? So, okay, so what happened now is the ward actually uses stamina instead of magicka, and if stamina is empty, it breaks. As you can see, it works quite well. I have lost a little bit of health, but almost nothing, and that is because of I think it blocks all magic, and it blocks 80% of melee or arrow damage. But while you cast ward, you also get a normal heal the regular heal spell that is being cast. So that means that you essentially just heal yourself all the time while you cast Ward. And then if your stamina runs out, your Ward is gone and you only have the heal spell left until you draw a new spell which just refreshes your 2 spells, and then you get your Ward back with the amount of stamina that you have. So in this case, stamina is an important stat for you, and while we're at it, Magicka is not anymore. If you only use Spellsiphon spells, they don't cost Magicka. You draw them, you cast them for free. I think it's quite immersive and it makes sense, and there is a cooldown for the mastery spells that I'm going to talk about later, but that's all. So essentially, if you want to play with Spellsiphon only, you need health and stamina. Whereas stamina is maybe even the more important stat, because your Ward is, as you can see, pretty strong. Yeah. So let's do this, and so as you can see, I now have a regular healing, and just try to not die. So if I draw a new spell, I get my Ward back. Something that I did not talk about yet is that Ward is also, it has a timing functionality. That means if you time it perfectly, you see that the enemy staggers, and you get this kind of time delay thing and a Soul Siphon combo that I'm going to talk about later. So that is pretty cool. It makes up for some really action-loaded fights if you do it right, because it's just like, I love these bullet time things. Yeah, that's pretty cool, right? And now it broke, because so what it does is, if you are getting power attacked and you have your Ward, it blocks the damage, but it really draws a lot of stamina. So that's it. I am going to let him kill me now because I want to show you something more, or I'm just gonna, yeah, it's okay. I'm just gonna load the game where I did not anger him yet. So that is this. Back to where we started. I need to get my bind, and I have my spells back. So I have been showing you the different elements and the Ward power. The next thing is the combinations. You have a world, so I shoot him and you see these flaming elements. Then I draw death and I shoot him with death. The death replaces the world, so it has a cold effect now instead of a fire effect, and you could see the Soul Siphon effect. Soul drawing, oh, I forgot the word. Anyway, you could see that effect, and that effect always means that you got a new stack of woven magic, and you can see active effects here, a woven power. So you could see here I now have 45 seconds twice woven power left, and that means my spell damage is multiplied by these amounts of woven powers. They do not refresh each other. This is kind of a random effect that I got both here so fast, but they do not refresh each other. They just have 1 minute and then they run out. So that means if you are good at combining your spells fast and so on, you get a lot of extra spell damage, and that is fantastic because that means that your spell power, your spell damage is dependent on your actual skill and not just on equipment or perks. So it's really what you do with how you combine your things, it really makes you better. And then there are some things that I did not yet talk about at all. The next thing I'm talking about is the bow. So I am... Oh no, we can leave it like this. So generally you get a bow if you have your if you have your spells, ward and draw already equipped, and you use bind again, you get a bound bow. That is pretty cool. It looks great, and it scales with your level, and essentially does about the same amount of damage as a normal bow of your level, which is a little bit improved by smithing or enchanting. So it's not overpowered, it makes sense. And it's just a normal bow that you can... Oh. Yeah. So that's... I don't know why it didn't get stuck, but it's okay. So that's the normal bow. So, but the thing is, with this bow, the bow interacts with the spells that you have. With the spells that you have on your enemy. So... if I draw World, I shoot him and then have the bow and shoot him again, he explodes. Which is fantastic. You can see the bullet time, you can see the realistic ragdolls and force. It's just great. It's so much fun, it's uncanny. Okay, now please stay, don't run away. Okay, sometimes he runs away then. So the next thing is death. Drawing death here, shooting him with death, and getting my bow, and he is going to freeze, which is pretty cool. So he's frozen in whatever he does right now, and it stays quite a while. It doesn't stay forever, but it stays quite a while. It also, you can break the freeze by shooting him again, or just let him... Careful. Well, I'm sorry, Rayloff, I know you're a friend of mine, but stay, don't run away. Yes, okay. So it either breaks by itself or it breaks by shooting him again. If you shoot somebody with a bow, you get these effects, and the regular, like the element around the person is taken away. So it's that's the combination with the bow. Now let's see if I can get life on him without him being angry at me. This ends now. Yes. So something that I also didn't say yet, like both death and world are area effects. So every enemy that you hit will get these elements around them, and also if you shoot death in a bunch of 3 people and you shoot world around like after them, and all 3 of them get the combination, then that means that you get 3 woven powers. So it's pretty strong, pretty powerful. It makes fighting against a group of enemies a little bit more balanced also. So now get him world life. So, and here getting the bow. That will give him an extra shock, which is a fantastic effect as well. It's so cool. And if you shoot somebody with this, with the flash, with the lightning strike, tri-bolt it's called, and the person dies because of this, you get a full freeze, time freeze, and you can shoot as many arrows as you want during the freeze, and if you then use bind again, the time continues, and every enemy that is being hit by an arrow that you shot during the entire freeze gets another more powerful lightning strike. So it's kind of an extra thing. It's really cool. It's quite an immersive effect. I cannot show you because he doesn't die if I kill him, but I don't want to go around and find an animal again. So yeah. Okay, it's getting dark. Let's stay like this. So that was that. Now the next thing that I'm talking about is the mastery. Stay. So if you have a spell drawn and you use bind, oh no, he ran away. And you use bind. Yeah. You bind this power in a special thing. So for example, you have death, as I had right now. You get a death rune. This death rune scales only with your level and with nothing else. So that means you can take death with you after a fight and place the rune, and it's independent from your stacks and so on, from your woven power stacks and so on. And some other thing that's really cool is you can you can theoretically take death again if you bind it. And now, and this should work. Normally it does. I don't know what I'm doing wrong quite right now. Maybe it's something with the scripts. That I have quite many scripts. Yeah, now it worked. What I did right now is to have a little pause. So I shot the trap. It went off, and then I had a little pause, and then recast the spell. I think it might have something to do. So the description says if you or an enemy is being hit by death, you can pull death out of the world in this case. So as you can see, it works. Maybe not to the extent that I don't quite understand it, I must say, but yeah. But you get death. You get death with your trap. Something, yeah. And then life I can right now not show you, but so world, if you draw the world and you press bind again, you get your damage circle around you. This is your all-out power damage thing. As you can see, your left hand now has a spell as well. So this is the fireball, the world spell. And this means whatever spell you draw and shoot, no, whatever spell you shoot gets transported to your left hand. So if you shoot only with your left hand, it just stays there. And if I draw death, now I can shoot both. And now my left hand has death, and my right hand is free again. So now I can do this, and now I have death in my left hand because death. I cast death before life, so it was transferred first. Anyways, the specifics. I think you get the point, right? I have not yet mastered it, so that's why I just explained you the basics. But so you can see that a spell gets transformed to your left hand. You do not have ward anymore, and you can just do much more damage now. And if you end the circle by either pressing bind again or walking out, it explodes in a gigantic explosion. And this explosion scales with the amount of combos you have, obviously. So with the woven power. So it's a really powerful way to defend yourself, even in that case. And maybe you just kill them with the woven, with the circle if you go out of it, and then you have your ward again, right? So it's really powerful. And now I am going to load the other game again and show you what life does, which is the last of the masteries. Magic. Bind. So I have my life now, and if I bind life, I am becoming ethereal, which is pretty cool. So either I can like jump off cliffs without getting damage, and what happens is if I take it off again, I fully heal myself. And I get death in my right hand, but now I kind of triggered death already in binding it. I don't quite understand what happens with the drawing death out of a rune, but it's okay. So the becoming ethereal is basically your heal spell. You fully heal yourself by just shooting an enemy. Ah, too late. So you fully heal yourself by drawing life from an enemy and using your becoming ethereal spell. And as far as I know, it dispels when you get hit. Yes. So I'm... No, I'm not. It doesn't. Huh, I'm fully ethereal. I did not know that. That's pretty cool. Right? So now I'm fully restored. That's actually... So now I die. Okay. So, but that's actually even better than I thought. So that's your I run away and have a panic attack moment, and then you get when you are when you get your bind, you get your life. Becoming ethereal. I can't be hit. I heal myself. I have death. I have a combo. I take my bow and I freeze him. So this is the kind of action that you can do. It's fantastic. It's just so much more fun to play like this. And I mean, this effect is really cool. But you can see that there's so much more to do, and I did not have to look at any menu in between. It's so action loaded and so on. Something that I also didn't mention yet is that draw also does damage. Obviously, you've seen it before. So just for you to be clear about this. Yeah, and that is this. So I'm now going to go in a little bit of details of the settings, but this was actually everything that you really need to know about the way the mod works. And as you can see, there are so many options of combining things, your how you interact with them and so on. It's so much fun to do it. It's just so cool. Even I freaking love this explosion effect. Please hit me. Yes. So now. No. You could see that I had both the time stop due to me having the ward at the same time, at the correct time. Right, like this. And then I had the time stop with the explosion. It's just so cool. What's up with his mouth? Oof. Now I'm dead. He does so much damage, or like I'm level 2, so I don't have any HP, but with the ward I can really still like survive for quite a while. So, back to no fighting. I've shown you all the relevant tactics that you can do with the stuff that you have. So now there are a few settings that you can have, and these are bind. You only see the settings when you have your bound spells in your hand. But then you see powers. And these are Rephrase, Reshape, Reverse. So reverse just has left and right reversed. So actually originally the mod comes with left hand draw, right hand ward. Because, and I see the point, the author says that if you have your power button on your left hand, which you can do if you do some use a mod or play around with the settings, you have this cool feeling that you press the grip button and by that take a bow out of thin air. It's really cool. It's very immersive. It's great. But I just want to have my right hand for drawing and aiming the spell. It just feels better. So that, but you're free to do that. You can do whatever you want. Then there is Reshape, which makes your drawn spells non-area spells. So your death effect, we can do that right now. So this is Reshape. My death effect now is just an ice spike, like this. This is important, and it also takes away the explosion from the world effect, right? So this is really cool because it allows you to play with a follower, or with, I don't know, sometimes you have quests where you have people that you have to protect or that walk with you, and you don't want them to be like angry at you or die just because you play the way you play. So then you have this option. That's really great that the author provided us with this. And then there's the last thing, is Rephrase. If you cast Rephrase, your shout becomes a second word or third word shout, and the second word doesn't change anything. It's the same as the first word. If you use the third word shout, let's cast Rephrase once and another time. Yes. So now I have Rephrase, and I have 3 binds. So the normal bind just is my normal bind. If I do the long bind, you can see that now it's reversed. So by having the 3 word shout, you can reverse your spells in the fight. That is important if you, for example, want to play with other spells, with other weapons and so on. Because if you have a spell that you equip now, or a weapon, it will stay. So you can decide where you want to have your things, your spells, on the fly. It's very, very flexible and really intuitive to do so. Yeah, you either do the normal bind like this, or you do the 3-word bind, and then you have the reverse. It's just great, in my opinion. This is just really, really flexible. Gives you a lot of options. I don't need it, but it's great that it's there. No, Rephrase, that's this. And I also want to go back to the Reshaped. That's this. So now I'm back to the bind. You see it's only 1 word again, and I have my draw in the right hand. I draw death, and it is, oops, wrong button. I draw death, and I get my area effect again. Something that I forgot to mention when doing your death rune, so you have death here, and the death rune appears where you look, not where you point. So I can point my controller away, I look to the ground here, and that's where the death rune appears. It's really cool, and it has a very long range, so I really like it. Anyway, so there's one last thing that is not yet there, but we are discussing it, and probably it will come soon. That will be Reforge. Reforge is another power that you get here, and Reforge lets you change your bow, your bound bow, to a bound battle axe. That means that you can also play melee if you want to, and you can also combine melee with these magic effects. And what you can still do is, if you sneak, you will still get the bow. So that means that even if you have the battle axe as your regular attacking thing, you want to sneak around and do some range damage, you can still do it. It's highly immersive, because normally you wouldn't sneak in a fight if you don't want to do this. So that makes a lot of sense. And also by if the time stops because of like killing somebody with the bound battle axe that has life on him, so then the time stops entirely, and you still get the bow to mark the people for getting shot with the lightning strike. That makes a lot of sense as well. So I think this is a great functionality, and with these things combined, you have a fantastic mod that it's just your all-in-one action-loaded fighting fighting mod, combat mod. It's fantastic, and it also, of course, you can use it with other things. You can use it with normal spells, especially if you're using Mage VR in addition. You can still do the gesture-based magic with the Mage VR gestures for the, let's say, conjuring followers or mage light or casting the stone flash or something around you. So it's really it just complements the entire game so much. It's fantastic, and the spells look cool, they play cool. It's just an all-around great mod. I'm very thankful for the author to have done it, and I'm very happy to show it to you. So, with that being said, thank you for listening, and see you next time.